afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the kitchen exploration episode with myself, Chef Victor, the lifestyle chef, and my two handy kitchen hands. What do you want to You got to look at the camera. What's your name?
Jackie. Jack.
And your name?
Blakey.
All right, and boys, what are we making today in the kitchen exploration?
Growling granola.
What do we make?
Growling granola.
Growling granola. All right, so thank you very much for joining us for episode 1 with me and my children, and we are going to do a simple, so nice to follow granola. I'm a big fan of breakfast in the house, especially when the guys need to get to school, and I can't think of a better way to get their day started, and obviously my own, by having a great simple little granola that the boys made. And the magic part about it is before we started making our own granola, they never enjoyed it. So it is literally one of those things that as soon as you actually make the cooking process with them interactive, this is when they really start getting into the food part. They get to understand what different ingredients are, how they taste, and obviously get to explore in their own kitchen. So without wasting any more time, let's rush into this one and start making our growling granola. So you will need the following ingredients. We have got some rolled oats. For those of you who don't know what rolled oats is, it's the larger flake oats. And that is actually ideal for the granola part. We've got some honey, some vanilla extract, vanilla essence should be fine, and then also some coconut oil. For those of you who don't mix dairy in with your food, obviously this is the ideal solution, the coconut oil. And if you don't mind adding dairy to your dish, you can just substitute, just hang on, boy. You can substitute the coconut oil for some butter. All right, cool, team. I think we should get started. Now, can you boys still remember how to count, and do you know how to recognize numbers?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we are using our kitchen scale and a bowl. If you want to pre-measure this out, or if you haven't pre-measured this out, we are going to do 200 grams of rolled oats.
Can I put it in?
Of course, Mandra.
Dad.
Jackie, if you can assist Dad by pouring in some 200 grams of rolled oats.
Daddy.
Yeah.
I eat banana.
Okay, you can have a mango. Of course you can.
Maybe this one.
But you can't eat all our stock. All right. So, without touching the bowl, remember, as soon as you put weight on it, you eat that.
I can eat 2.
Okay, let's try and stop at 100. How does that number look? What's that number? 1, 2, 5, and that's 125 grams. So remember, 200 grams is 2 with 2 zeros at the end of it. So let's try and get there nice and slow now. And look at the numbers, look at the numbers, look at the numbers. All right, what is that number?
282.
No, 202. So that's 200 grams, everybody. So if you haven't pre-measured this already, 200 grams of rolled oats. Then I will need a little chef to help me with. All right, so Jack, you can do me 1 tablespoon. Okay, I'm going to take the scale away because we've done it with the scaling and measurement part. No, you're going to crush the nuts for us. So Blakey, if you can do me 1 nice tablespoon, put your stash down. 1 full tablespoon. No, that's not a full tablespoon. No, I'll get the hammer. And you put the nuts without spilling a little bit more. Put your nuts in the bowl.
I get my.
Yeah. Okay. You don't have to close the bag. And I think we need a little bit more of this. Make it a full tablespoon. So that is already measured out. Now, what Jack is doing, we have got, I did list quite a lot of, before we bash over, I did list quite a lot of ingredients from nuts to dried fruit. I think you definitely know more at home what your children would like in terms of their oats or their granola. If they don't like any form of nuts, that's 100% fine. Just skip that part. If they don't like any dried fruit, just skip that part. Or otherwise, if they don't eat oats, you can just do a full roasted nut combination with the standard ingredients: 200 grams of nuts, the teaspoon of vanilla extract, the 2 tablespoons of honey, and the tablespoon of coconut oil. But what Jack is going to do for us right now, he loves cashew nuts and no other nuts. So we have got cashew nuts in a bag. Okay, remember, you're not going to try and smash through the table. You just want to literally crush a nut. So Jack is just crushing the nut because the whole nut is a bit too big just for roasting. So stand clear, Blake. This is another way of using kitchen utensils. If you don't have a mallet, you can use a rolling pin. If you don't have a rolling pin, you can just you can use a bowl. You can use the back of the spoon. There's so many other ways to crush the nuts. Put it in two bowls and just grind it together. But you get the drift. We're trying to just get the nuts into a smaller bite-sized portion. Okay, Blakey, you are our chief mixer. Please add the nuts into the bowl. You give me the hammer because I can see that's going to be a problem ready. All right, cool. Nuts in. So I added about 200 grams of nuts with that. But again, use your own discretion. You can follow your own measurement in terms of how much nuts you want to add. Also, budget depending if you want to add the nuts part. All right, cool, boys. One of you need to add a teaspoon of the vanilla extract. Okay, nice and slow. And Mr. Moo, if you can add me 2 tablespoons of honey. I think you can add 2 teaspoons. So the reason, also another way, again, as you can see, I would like to get these 2 guys involved with the entire cooking process, because this actually helps keep them engaged during, also not just keep them engaged, but also understand what measurement is, or get to taste the different parts that we are adding to our dish. So Blake, if you can do the honey, that's enough, Jack.
Give it a drop.
Huh? Cool. You're going to use your finger? Okay, give me that teaspoon. You don't have to use all fingers. That's 1 teaspoon of honey. We're going to do 2 tablespoons. So 1 tablespoon of honey. We're going to add another tablespoon. Yes, my baby?
I have 2 more mangoes.
No, you can eat all the stash now. We're going to do mango just now. All right, cool. Who is going to, Jackie, do you want to get your hands dirty? Okay, cool. Can you, so just hang on before you go with that. So just to recap, just hang on 2 seconds, they're already finished. Just to recap what we've already got in our bowl. We've got 200 grams of rolled oats. We have added 1 tablespoon of coconut oil. We've added 2 tablespoons of honey and also 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now at this point, this is a perfect granola. If you want to add the nuts, but do not add the dried fruit yet. You're going to attack that process right now. So we've got our first kitchen hand. He likes to get his hands dirty. Make sure everything is mixed through nicely. Now you might think this, as you start doing, you might think that the mix does look a little bit dry as you mix it. Just remember, the coconut oil or the butter is still in a solid, what do you call it? It's still quite lumpy. By the time you stick it into the oven, that will start to melt. That and the honey, and then when you are starting to stir your rolled oats mix, that will actually mix all your ingredients nicely through in the oven. So do not worry about the way it looks as it goes into your roasting pan. Keep going.
That means I want to mix.
No, you're going to cut. You're going to cut just now. Okay, Jack?
Not just to wash these.
Okay, over there. You want to help me scrape this up? Okay. So what I have here is a roasting pan. spread it over my roasting tray. As you can see, this is my coconut oil still being quite lumpy. So do not worry about that if it is lumpy at this stage, because as soon as it goes in the oven, that will actually start to melt and spread through your dish. My oven is preheated. Go and wash your hands. My oven is preheated on 180. Yes, it is quite high. So we want to actually create quite a lot of heat on top of our granola to start with. And that's going to actually give it the nice color, also help the honey caramelize, and also the coconut oil spread through your rolled oats. So in my preheated oven, and that is step 1, done and complete. You two are eating all our stock here. All right, Jake?
Daddy,
Yep, on your chair.
can I have one of these?
Okay, but this is the last. Ross, is not going to be enough for your granola. Silly billies. All right, cool. So if you are up to speed with the process right now, we have just made our dried granola mix. That is in the oven, busy roasting away. And now we are going to add our fruit part. So what I've got here, the two boys love dried apricots and some dried mango. So I'm going to split. You've already made a little mess here. You actually both. We've got 2 small little chopping boards, and a handy note for both parent and child. As you can see, I've got a red tea towel. Just hang it before you bash. We've got a red tea towel underneath here, and don't bash my phone. We've got a red tea towel or any color tea towel, and the reason why we have that is it actually stops the boards from moving. Compared to a normal plastic or wooden board, if you put it on the counter, it's quite slippery. Especially when kids are starting to work, they're going to use scissors instead of knives, but also when the grown-ups are doing a normal cooking process, that should actually assist you with the board not moving around. All right, cool. Who's using the green scissors?
Me.
Blue.
Me.
All right, cool.
I already got my stuff.
Okay, so wait, just before you, I know you're a bit of a fast one. So let's start with one thing. Jack, start with the apricots. Okay, leave that.
I'm doing this mango.
Okay.
And can I have one more?
No, that's plenty, Mango. So the reason why I've asked these guys to get their scissors out, or the kids' scissors, is it's a lot safer than using a kitchen knife or a butter knife. It's a bit sharper than a butter knife, but also Blakey is 3 and Jack is 6. And at school, they're often used. I did say. Oh, sorry. Blakey is 4.
And I'm 5.
You're turning 6 on the weekend, Nigel. So the reason why we're using the scissors is a lot easier for them to cut the dried fruit compared to using a blunt knife or a plastic knife. And they also use scissors a lot at school. So what I would like you to do with your child is a simple way to remember how to cut this down is cut the apricot one time in half, then cut that half into half, cut that half again into half. So we've got these beautiful little bite-sized portions of dried apricot. And then, just hang on, Blake. And then with our mango, we're going to just cut it also in the same bite-sized little bits. And now the two, or your child will know exactly the bite-size bits you are looking for the granola. So I'm going to let them start with their cutting process. Okay, Blake, start cutting. Yeah.
I cut one, I eat one.
Yeah, but that just sounds like you're taxing yourself. Okay, you're going to have one more. It's a good thing we bought quite a lot. So Jackie, you need to also cut these a bit smaller, Angel. Okay, so cut your halves already into half. Okay. Now while the kids are busy, just careful with your fingers. Please concentrate on what you guys are doing. So because the oven is preheated, your granola should be roasting away quite nicely. The aim is not to burn it. So please check it consistently and make sure it's evenly spread. Get that coconut oil and honey already moved through your granola. Okay. And so we are just giving this a nice roasted. Back into the oven. Again, guys, as we always say, what is the most important part when we are working around the kitchen hobs, meaning the burners and the oven? It's not just about being close. All the kids at home, the oven inside is very, very hot right now. It's about 100.
You can't go very.
Yeah, but you can. So as we stand here, it's fine. But as soon as the grown-ups open the oven, there's hot air inside the oven. And the last thing you want to do is, because you guys are so short, the last thing you want is all that hot air when you open the oven to go straight into your face, your eyes, and then it could really hurt you. So always be careful around the gas or the cooking hobs and also the oven, and make sure the grown-ups open it, not just you guys, because the last thing we want is an accident around the kitchen and somebody gets hurt, because that is not fun. Yeah, but you also got to concentrate and keep your eyes on what you're doing. The last thing you want to do is cut your finger off.
Dad, why did you say the last thing we want to do is get burned?
The last, yeah, we do not want to do that, Rachel. At this pace, we're going to still be here tomorrow. So all these can be cut in half. They are too big. This is also too big. Okay, do you want me to cut it? Okay. Well, clearly, I'm going to eat all the granola. So the same rules for the rolled oats. It is still a low GI component in terms of a carbohydrate, and that helps release slowly during the day. So it not only does it make your child feel full after they've had a bowl, the second part is it is a slow release carbohydrate, means it keeps them full during the day, or at least till they have their lunch. So yeah, that's a great way of getting good carbohydrates in. And then also, if you are having, please do not do that. If you are having, you're out of shot, can you stand here? So if you are having yogurt with your granola, that's also a great way of getting protein. And also then you also have some sugars inside your fruit. And I think that is a well-balanced meal to start your day. What does the mango not have? It's got sugar. It's just a different type of sugar. It's called fructose. So it means it's a natural sugar from the fruit.
Dada,
Yes.
you were wrong because you said you will eat it all.
Well, who's going to eat it all?
All of us.
Okay, all of us, because you love growling.
No.
Yeah. All right. Jeepers, that sounds like a thirsty, thirsty little boy. So again, whatever the selection of dried fruit you want to add to your granola, that will be. Okay, how about you take Jack's cup? And there's no set measurement for the dried fruit or the nuts, whatever size you feel is in order. Okay, just going to check my granola. It's coming along. Perfect. So keep on stirring, please, everybody at home. Can't believe you guys are taxing all our dried fruit. Are you very thirsty because you had a full day at school, hey?
Yeah.
Okay, careful by the oven. Watch your fingers. So once you've done your chopping part, move your dried fruit to a little prep bowl. And while we're waiting for our granola to roast, we'll keep on prepping. Sure, mate. This is great. You are being a silly Billy here. Say again. All right. So it's also nice with granola, fresh fruit in the morning to go in there. I do know for the kids sometimes, if it's everything in one bowl, it goes down quicker. But also if your kids aren't big into fresh fruit, this is a nice way to sneak some fruit inside the granola after when you serve it with some yogurt.
And this will be quicker.
Okay, why is that going to be quicker?
This is going to be.
Okay, one at a time, because we want to keep on watching. Oh, careful for your fingers. You stay there. What else can you share with the kids? I just want to find some raisins.
Nothing.
So nothing to share. We are also going to add some raisins. We can just into our quick bowl. We don't have to cut the raisins, they're already quite small, perfect little bite size. So our granola will have the base of the rolled oats, and then our dried fruit of mango and dried apricots, and some dried raisins. And then obviously we've got some nuts in our granola. Oh, Blakey, you are doing so well here, bud. Okay, Dad, help you. I'll cut it first in half, and then you keep on cutting. How about you come and finish up here? Yeah, because you are my little chef hand today. And this is basic motor skills that you guys already do so much at school, right? Nice and slow, don't force it, Blake. Watch out for this finger, you're going to cut your finger there. So again, even though these guys are cutting, doing a lot of cut work at school, it's always good to keep your eye on the prize. Obviously, it's a bit more, it's a more, the texture of the dried fruit is a little bit harder, and it doesn't cut as easily as paper. So it's just always good to see as they try and keep their fingers, or maybe one finger in the way. You just want to avoid any kitchen accidents. Keep on cutting this.
Lifestyle chef accent.
Lifestyle chef accidents, but I think I'm a chef and I know that I don't have too many accidents anymore. All right, immediately. So my oven likes to create a bit of more heat on the one side. So again, that is why it's so important.
And the other side.
Okay, or the other side. It is so important to keep on stirring it, because the last thing we want to do is have toasted or burnt sides and then still the rest of your granola not ready. Okay, are you almost finished there, Blake?
Yeah, I'm done.
I'm going to roast this for another 2 or 3 minutes. And then we should have our granola ready to go. Yeah, but that's fine. We can snack on that as a snack for later, but I think you've already had enough. I'm just going to wait for Blakey to finish up this little bit. Okay, I'm going to remove the danger. One of you guys can both have a piece of mango each for all your hard work. I'm going to remove the scissors. Right. So I'm going to take my granola out. Just allow it to cool for a little bit. And I'll walk my batch around to the front of the camera to give you, please do not bash, to the front of the camera so that you can actually just see what we are looking for in terms of color. Just want the camera to adjust a little bit. Immediately you can smell this beautiful vanilla, the honey coming through, that roasted flavor of the granola. And also, as soon as your granola cools down, that the granola will go nice and crispy, like you are quite used to the product you buy from the stores usually. So as soon as it's cooled down, the granola will be ready to actually eat like that. Guys, I think it is time for the two of you to each add your dried fruit. Just hang on, the tray is hot. Okay, that's enough. Okay, please do not touch the tray. Okay. Okay. You add your raisins. Yeah, as many as you want.
No.
Okay, everybody's got a turn. Everybody's got a turn. Okay, Jackie, Blake's. This is for Blake. Perfect, little Blake. Okay, add your raisins.
And it looks so good.
It is so good you want to eat it, hey? I'm just going to separate our little bits of dried fruit. Don't bash these, because that's a horrible sound. Okay, I'm going to move my tray because you two are being a little bit silly.
And a little bit
Give that a last little bit of stir. I'll bring our granola to the front of the camera. Guys, we're still busy. Jack and Blake. And here we got two silly kids and our finished product. And the last thing we want to do is just add our granola to a storage container that I don't have with me. Okay, loading. You can. We're just going to allow this to cool. And team, come on, guys, we've got to come and say goodbye to our friends. Like, come stand. No, come stand here on your chair, because nobody can see you because you're that short. Careful here.
Bye.
All right. Thank you everyone for joining us for our first episode of Cooking with Kitchen Explorations. And as you can see, these two guys are losing their concentration here closer to the end. But thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy your granola, and please let us know how it goes at home. Send a few pictures of you having your granola in the morning, and let us know how the recipe worked for you and your kids.